Welcome everyone to Xperi 369's first live interview. Today we are honored to have Kiana Christie, who is a language and culture enthusiast at heart. She was born in Atlanta, Georgia, and it was her parents' travels that opened her up to a world of foreign languages. From the tender age of 6, honey, she dove headfirst into learning Japanese. Wow. Now she's able to speak 4 languages, and she has enjoyed culture on 3 continents. She's lived in South Korea teaching English for over 3 years, where she picked up Latin dance hobbies such as salsa congresses around the world. The girl dances salsa. All right. So finally, she moves to China mainland, spending 5 years doing internships and other work. This boss move afforded her the ability to register her own business services. She's a translator by day, and she thoroughly enjoys being able to tutor other Americans in Chinese Mandarin. Now, how boss is that? Her time abroad has also afforded her some new perspectives on how people maneuver within hierarchies, ancient tradition, educational disparities, while grasping for a new modern way of life. I think that's what we're all grasping for right about now. So this is so relevant. Kiana, how are you, baby?
I'm doing great. How have you been?
Oh, you know how I've been over here in these American, United States. My
Right.
goodness, yeah. How is things going where you are?
Right now, I'm in South Korea and things are fairly open. They haven't had the type of shutdown that the US has had. So I do feel for you guys over there.
It's so much better management. I'll just say that and leave it alone. Okay,
Right.
so now I've read your bio 5 times if I read it once. I'm amazed. And so the questions, there's so many, and you're probably going to have to come
Yeah.
back. Okay, is that cool?
No
You come back.
problem. I'm all good with that.
Okay. So what inspired you to learn and teach language, honey?
Well, I have always wanted to learn a secret language myself, especially when my parents came back. So they had been living overseas and working, doing their business. And then when they came back, they taught me to write my name in Japanese. And for me, that was like, oh, I have this secret language to myself. I can, write and read something. And, as I grew up, I learned that, did you know that in the US, only 20% of our adults can speak another language. Mm-hmm. However, in Europe, 66% of the adults speak some other language.
Wow.
And in my personal experience, they're speaking at least 3.
Yeah. That says a lot. Yeah. That says a lot about our society. It really does. Mm-hmm. And that's not a good thing. So why right. Mandarin? What intrigues you about Mandarin, though? I mean, from what I have seen, that is one of the most intensive and difficult languages to master. So how did you get there, hon?
I was learning Japanese. I started self-study with Japanese. So I'm learning it by myself, and it was kind of like, okay, I like this language, it's great. And when it came to Mandarin, that happened by complete accident while my brother and I were walking through Chinatown, and I thought, these characters are very nice. And to be honest, they are different. The Chinese characters are different from the Japanese characters. So we saw them. I thought, oh, these are very beautiful. We participated in a small activity to write. And then we heard a little bit of somebody speaking the language on the phone. And we thought, this is a crazy language. So I said, okay, I'm going to try and learn it, because it would have been like a fun thing to do. It was never supposed to be like, there was no real goal when I started.
Okay. That's pretty amazing. So, the most that I know on the languages, is the, say, Korean. Those characters
Right.
are very distinct, and Japanese and Mandarin. And that's as far,
Right.
so I can tell what language is written. I can't
Yeah.
tell what is being said, which is sad. And you're going to wind up having to, you're going to wind up having to kind of continue to challenge me.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of challenge me so that I can learn that language better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Not a problem.
yeah, challenge me because we should all be able to speak at least two languages,
Yes.
all of
At
us,
least two.
at
Mm-hmm.
least two. So this is such an amazing adventure that you've been on. I know that you have collected some stories. I know there has to be some fun facts that you've discovered along the way. Do you have a couple you want to share with us?
You know, I want to start off with the whole Mandarin tones. Everyone is interested in how the tones work. And they've always been told there are four tones. However, there's actually five. You have to count it as five because there's sometimes where you use what they call a neutral tone. And so that becomes, you know, a separate meaning in itself, especially the way that you express it sometimes. So
Mm-hmm.
it's very fun. And I also learned that when you speak Chinese, because it is a tonal language, your brain actually has to use more parts. So it needs to use more of the right side because that is also the side that is your artistic side. It's processing music. So I personally believe that if you are good at singing, you're good at, you know, some type of instrument, you're probably going to be good at learning the tonal language like Mandarin.
Amazing. So
Mm-hmm.
when we speak about the tonal language, is it like when I'm talking to my plants, I use a certain tone always,
Okay.
you know,
Yeah,
because I never have to fuss at my plants.
that's true.
The dog and the cat, it just depends. And so my tone changes. Is that the same way the tones are set up in Mandarin?
So it's very different actually because your tones are not only your tone of voice and like showing your emotion. They actually need to be specific to each syllable since you still have many different syllables that you need to control the tones in which you're speaking.
Okay. That's intense.
Yeah.
That's intense. And I think I have heard when I have been in the company of people speaking in Mandarin, and I always wonder, you know, how the octaves and everything are going up and down. And I noticed something different, but I've never understood what it was. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
So now give me some fun facts about your adventures.
My adventures.
Fun
Let's
facts.
see.
Give me some fun facts. Give me some fun facts. I want to know it all. Tell me everything.
Fun facts. It is very funny how you can go to, obviously, I think a lot of people have heard when you're in China and you're Black like me, you are going to become an attraction while you are trying to visit the attractions.
Okay.
So my favorite place in Beijing is the Summer Palace. And, you know, everyone is thinking about the Forbidden Palace. I love the Summer Palace and
Okay.
it's beautiful. And I'm walking around enjoying my time. And this guy comes out of nowhere and he was like, "Hey, you're Black." And I was like, "Yeah, I am." And he was like, "No, I mean, you are a Black person." And the excitement on his face, like he was serious about it. And so I was like, "Yeah, I'm a Black person. You know, from America." And he was like, "Can we take a picture?" And I was like, "Sure." And that was a mistake because as soon as I let him take a picture, you know, we're standing together, we take the picture, there was a line of people ready to take pictures with me while I was trying to take pictures of the Summer Palace. It's
Okay.
just a fact. It just happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but you were gracious.
I was gracious. Just let it go.
Let it happen. Let it
Mhm.
happen. Yeah, that's beautiful. That is really beautiful. So now talking about your students, tell me more about your students.
My students range in ages. I come from a background of teaching in the middle school, and then I went down. I also taught in preschool, kindergarten age. Especially here in Asia, they kind of mix those, which I'm fine with because I love the Montessori style of mixing
Mm-hmm.
the ages of students.
Okay.
So I prefer to teach Chinese in full immersion style, where I only speak Chinese to them. And I have one girl in particular was like, I don't know what you're saying. You didn't teach me this. I have no idea. And she would look at me. But these days, she's answering what I tell her. She's answering in English, but she is answering. And then unconsciously, she will say a couple of things in Chinese in response to what I've said. So it's
Wow.
the process. Some kids can be stubborn, but I do have other students who, when I'm doing my class with them, they're just like, at first they're like, oh man, I have no idea what you're talking about. And then I'll
Mhm.
ask a question. They're like, yeah, the green one, the green one. And I'm like,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know what I'm talking about. Yeah,
Amazing.
it is
Wow.
great. The brain, it just picks it up.
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay. And that's amazing. You know,
Yeah,
it kind of reminds me of when they put these memes up where everything is jumbled up and spelled backwards, but you can still read it.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
That's that miracle stuff right there. So
Mm-hmm.
now I want to circle back to your living abroad.
Sure.
And what is it, like a 80-20%? Because I know you do come home to visit, sort of like
Yeah,
85-15, something like that, that you
that's
spend
right.
85% of your year abroad, right?
Overseas, yes.
So
Mm-hmm.
what do you love about it? And what do you dislike, if I can ask?
One of the things, and I know people will think it's strange, but I love the freedom that I have here to be myself. I'm not sure how other people's lives have gone, but there are some times where being Black in America really hinders you. And
Mhm.
when you're outside of America, it's actually not as big of a problem. Once you come
Okay,
in and you say, hey, I'm your translator, I'm here to do this, people are like, okay, let's go, let's jump.
right.
There's a lot of opportunities, honestly, to try and do business when you're overseas. It just depends on what industry you're in.
Uh-huh.
However, there are the things, the downsides are like the visa restrictions and how sometimes you need a certain amount of experience, or you might need to have proof of how much money you're making and things to be able to stay in a country.
Okay.
And one of my pet peeves is false excuses, just like people will pretend sometimes when they don't want to do a deal with you. They're like, oh, we have such cultural differences. And I'm like, what cultural differences? We are both here drinking tea and enjoying the tea. And they'll
Right.
be like, oh, yeah, but I like my tea plain and you put sugar in yours. And I'm like, this is not a reason for us not to be friends, right?
Right.
So
Exactly.
sometimes people make those small things when they get bothered or really uncomfortable. You have to be careful if you're in like in a in a society where there's only majority of just one type of people.
Okay. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, I could see with that. But again, I have heard that I wasn't a cultural fit just trying to work for companies here,
Right,
that tend
right.
to not hire us.
That's
So
true.
yeah, that's wow. So do you get homesick?
I do. I really do. I miss my mom's cooking. I miss my grandma's cooking. I miss the food. I miss seasonings. And then sometimes I just miss being around a multitude of people. I feel like America is so, so blessed to be able to have a different type of people from everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And there are many times where I personally have a very good, diverse group of friends, and we're able to sit around in the same house, talk about the same things, enjoy the same jokes and everything. sometimes that's definitely something, it's something like you just don't understand how you miss it until you're not able to do it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I hope that I'll be able to sit around with you and have some lattes and what have you when you return the next time. Yeah,
Sure.
that's wonderful. So, we got a lot of stuff going on globally right now.
Mm.
How do you feel being so far away and seeing and hearing the current news in your home country?
It is it's a crazy topic, right? Like I feel such disappointment that I'm not able to be there and join in the different protests, marching, or anything. But I do feel a sense of pride. I'm so happy. I have to tell you that certain non-Black friends of mine that I was sure there's like no hope for them. They will never see these things. They'll never be able to understand. And they have been posting with what they've learned, and they're basically posting their growth. And I'm seeing that, oh, this person actually finally understands what some of us are going through. They understand what a majority of us have been complaining about. They're finding ways actively to try and join this movement in a positive way. It's
Excellent.
not even alone by just posting their solidarity with a hashtag. They're also posting where they're going, like the businesses they're helping, the things they're offering to the community as a whole.
Excellent.
I'm so grateful for that. I really am.
Yeah, these are amazing times. And those of us who have lived to see it, we all have some type of responsibility. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We're obligated because
Right.
this is history. This is history in the making. I don't care how you cut it, the good, bad, and the ugly.
Right.
I'm happy to hear that. Really happy to hear that. I want to go back to the two businesses that you operate there. Could you give me the names of each, and could you tell me a little bit about each of those?
Sure. First, I have Bold Connect International, which I registered in Guangzhou, China. Bold Connect is a business services company. We usually do translations, and we can do them right now we have 5 language pairs that are solid. They are usually in demand, so we can get those done for people. And then my other initiative is called Kibabel Institute, and it is where I started Chinese for Children. And this is where I have a Facebook page, Chinese for Children, where I am teaching Chinese to people. And although I do have some adult students, most of the students are children, and they're just learning just like a regular class that they would want to take, an extracurricular foreign language class.
Okay. So tell me this, for the translation services, is that specific to mainland China, or do you have contracts in America, different places? How does that work?
Yeah, it's very international. I'll say that. There are some clients from Japan, some clients from the US, and some clients from Singapore.
Okay.
So,
Excellent.
I mean, it's more about which languages we do. And so that's if someone needs languages, it really doesn't matter where you are, we can do them for you.
Okay, great. So with the children, are you teaching children here in America as well as in Asia?
Actually, right now I'm only teaching children in America. And it's not that I only marketed in America, but those are the people contacting first, which makes me happy because, like I said, we're the ones lacking in the skill of having multiple language ability. So I'm very excited. I hope to have many more American children that are learning, not even just Chinese. They can learn something else if they'd like.
Okay, so I have a burning question.
Sure.
Let's say we have a working class family. They may be working poor, but they have this vision of their children learning other languages so that they'll have a better life. Are there grants or scholarships that they can get to give them a shot if the parents don't have the disposable income?
There
Say again.
are quite a few different foreign language related scholarships and such. Most things are going to be for high school students, and university students. I'm planning to work with a few different companies and see if we can't get a few donations so that we can also teach children that are, in elementary school even, because there is a want for it. But like you said, sometimes it's just not financially feasible for certain families.
Okay, so shout out to everyone that is listening. We need to have boots on the ground because we have so many Fortune 500 companies now who claim that Black Lives Matter. And they've already announced that they've given all total together, there's like $10 billion available to support Black businesses, Black schools, Black nonprofits, grassroots organizations. So we need to do some letter writing, some phone calling to get this done and make it easier because, not one person should have to do this. And our children, if I miss the opportunity, that's one thing. But my grandchildren should not have a missed opportunity. And now is the time. So help her out, y'all. Help her out. Okay, so now we're going to talk about some emotions because I'm having them and I'm not even doing half of what you're doing. Okay, I'm having emotional stuff jumping off just because I'm talking to you. Okay, and just listening to you. How in the world do you balance your emotions, especially during what do we got going on? COVID-19, upcoming race war, I don't even know about this election going on, and I'm expecting either aliens or zombies. So how do you hold it together? Which one do you think is going to be, aliens or zombies?
You know what? I'm picturing the zombies.
The zombies?
The way people are looking right now, they don't want to wear the mask anyway. This is exactly how we get the zombies.
You said it. Okay. And then everybody's doing this.
Right.
So yeah, we probably got a zombie apocalypse coming. Okay, so you heard it here first, guys. But seriously, how I do it with humor, as you can see, but how do you balance?
Yes. I also enjoy humor. I really do. However, the best way for me to relax is dance.
Okay, because dance changes your DNA. So yeah. Are there any other hobbies that I'm not privy to outside of work that you do to bring joy to yourself?
You know what? I really do like to paint. I like to paint, draw. It's not that I'm really good at those. Okay. I just enjoy the process. I enjoy doing it.
Okay. Well, that's wonderful. Last, and I hate that this is the last question, but what do you say to us in America that want to learn languages? And do you have any tips or strategies for success in that area?
For sure. If you want to learn another language, I say just go for it. I know sometimes some people are picked on like, oh, why are you learning that language? That's so strange. It sounds weird. It does, because it's a foreign language. Dive in 100% head first. If you can, just do a full immersion class. Do full immersion. Make sure you're listening to music, watching the TV, reading the books once you're able to read. I mean, those are the things that I did. And then when you have the chance to talk to someone, call them on the phone. We've got internet now. You can Skype, you can Zoom, you can WhatsApp. There's really no reason that you would be alone in learning your language.
Okay. Well, I thank you so much. I'm going to cue up a little bit of music. Girl, are you ready to shake a leg?
I am so ready for a dance.
Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.